Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amy from Rebel Nutrition, and if you're new around here, I started my business as a nutritionist turned multiple seven-figure online course creator, and today's video I'm going to be answering a bunch of frequently asked questions that I got from you guys on my Instagram. So I'm so excited to get into all the questions. We're going to be covering everything from how to choose a niche, how to price an online course, and so many other things. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. Okay, somebody asked, can you add what program your students are using when you share testimonials? So if you guys have been on my Instagram for any amount of time, I share testimonials all the time. And I don't necessarily pinpoint like what course they took, but because at this point in my business, I really have one signature offer, and that is my Online Course Academy bundle. The Online Course Academy bundle obviously includes Online Course Academy and Passive Income Academy. Passive Income Academy is the part of the bundle that teaches you how to sell your course passively once it's done so that you're making sales every single day. So anytime I'm sharing testimonials at this point, it's for the OCA bundle. Is the only way to grow on Instagram to create how-to videos or tutorials as content? So I would say that how-to videos and tutorials as content are actually a great way to grow on Instagram, on social media. And I think that's what this person is saying. Like maybe she sees that the only videos that are going viral are videos like that. I would say, especially if you're an online course creator, those are great types of content videos to create because it is really positioning you as an expert on the thing that you're teaching. So if people follow you from a reel like that, they're so much more likely to be interested in buying a course from you because they've already bought into the fact that you're a good teacher, they learned something from you. So even if the topic is like not necessarily exactly the same as what your course teaches, I think it's still a really good way, like I said, to just position yourself as an expert and kind of prime people to want to purchase whatever you're selling. Now, having said that, is it the only way to grow on Instagram? Absolutely not. I mean, I still see and follow a ton of people who are posting inspirational content, even relatable content. So an example of that would be like, let's say you are a gut health nutritionist. A relatable piece of content would be something like leveraging a trending audio, maybe it's a voiceover or something, from the perspective of one of your ideal clients, like somebody who's dealing with bloating or acid reflux all the time, something like that. So focusing on relatable or inspirational. Again, inspirational would be something that is kind of selling the dream. Again, if you're a nutritionist who focuses on gut health, maybe selling the dream looks like showing off or somehow portraying the fact that like you can wear a bathing suit without being 6 months pregnant bloated these days. You know what I mean? So something like that, and getting creative and having fun with the way that you go about creating that content, I think is huge. But no, it's not the only way to grow. Okay, can you pursue a niche that you are not a part of? For example, I have got perfect services for a certain type of person, but I am not one. So I think what this person is saying, so let's say like you are a weight loss coach and you teach people how to lose a significant amount of weight or something like that, but you yourself have always been thin. Yes, you're not going to have the same like story, but again, I think that's okay. I think that everything about you, everything about your story, everything about your life, good or bad, can become a part of your unique story. And ultimately, those things are going to be what makes you you. If you just embrace them and share them unapologetically, it's inevitably going to attract more of the right people. So you can still absolutely do that and just be honest about it. Like, to give you guys another example, like when I started my business, and I've talked about this story so many times, so I know if you guys have been here for a while, you've heard me talk about it before, but I lived in the hut, okay? I had this thought, like, nobody's gonna want to see nutrition content from me if I'm in this like ugly, like, hut literally with bad lighting, and I don't have good food photos. Like, nobody's gonna want to follow along with me. But then I just decided, you know what? It's kind of a unique living situation. So like, what if I just started sharing that unapologetically and just see what happened? And the crazy thing was, people were really interested in it. They wanted to know how I cooked my meals without a kitchen. Like, how did I make things in the microwave? How did I bulk and batch my food, my grocery shopping, all of that good stuff. So really, like, take the things that you maybe view as a negative and just figure out a way to turn them into a positive, make it part of your brand. Okay, next question. What was your most supportive mindset to be unstoppable in getting it created? So, getting it created, I'm assuming they're talking about an online course, because it is, I mean, it definitely takes dedication to get an online course and see it through to completion. It's a lot of hard work, 100% worth it, but it does take work. So I think my mindset going into it, which this may sound like totally counterintuitive to some people, but it really was normalizing failure. And what I mean by that is I kind of went into it in the sense of like, look, if this doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. You know, it's not that big of a deal. I would rather know that I tried and failed at something than always wonder what if. So I thought to myself, you know what, worst case scenario, sometimes I think about this in my life, like what is the worst thing that can happen, and prepare myself for that, because then anything feels like a win. So it was like, okay, worst case scenario, I launch this and nobody buys it. At that point, yes, that's going to suck because I'm going to have to stay at this serving job that I really don't like. But at that point, I can decide, okay, do I want to tweak some things and try it again? Or do I want to just be like, you know, that was a good try and I'll stay at my serving job? I always knew in the back of my mind I was never going to stay at that serving job, and I was going to find, I think that's the thing about me, is that like I am just so dedicated to figuring it out, and I will fail 1,000 times and get back up and keep going until I get it right. And I kind of knew that about myself and trusted that I was gonna stick to it until it worked. And I think that that's kind of the mindset that you have to have also, is like, have faith in yourself that you can figure it out. You can do it. And just because it doesn't work the first time, or just because you try something and it, you know, doesn't get the amount of sales or amount of followers that you were hoping for, it doesn't mean that that's a failure. The only way you can truly fail at something is to sit around and always wonder what if and never actually try. So I always felt like as long as I was still working towards something, that was a win for me. Next question, what is a realistic goal for somebody with a low following? So I'm going to make this one brief because I kind of already talked about it before, but I think if you are starting from absolutely zero following right now and no course created yet and nothing created, it is absolutely realistic to make $10,000 from your online course within 3 to 4 months. Maybe even faster, but I think 3 to 4 months definitely gives a little bit of wiggle room for, like, you know, your lifestyle. If you have kids, if you're working another job, totally realistic to go from 0 to 10K in 3 months. Again, my course will give you a timeline so that you can bust this out in exactly 3 months and exactly what to do every single day during that time so that you get it done. Next question is, I have one course, but tempted to make a couple others as well. Thoughts on one course versus a few? So I personally have created over 8 courses in the last 5 years. So as somebody who has the perspective of creating a lot of different courses, my personal experience is that it is more profitable to focus in on one core offer, simply for the reason that if you're showing up on social media, if all year round you're kind of focusing on that, like that triangle that I was talking about before, like your one core offer and then maybe a couple other things that are a part of your brand, everybody who comes to your audience, everybody who follows you, whether it's now, whether it's a year from now, everybody kind of knows you as the person who teaches X. Everybody comes to my Instagram and they know that I teach about online courses and passive income. Like, that is what I teach, online course creation. It's not confusing because I have like this one core message that everything I talk about feeds into that core message. And for that reason, it makes it really clear. People aren't confused. And I know that when I had, you know, I was selling like 4 or 5 different courses at the same time, I had a lot more confusion about like, oh, should I buy her Instagram course, or should I buy her human design course, or should I buy her online course creation course? I'm not really sure like which one's for me. So it's just created a lot more confusion, I think, and confused people are way less likely to buy. Now, having said that, I think, again, if your number one goal is profitability, I would focus on one core offer. But I don't think that one thing always works for every single person. If you're the type of person who gets more energy and has like more passion and drive and inspiration when you're working on multiple things, like maybe if you're into human design, if you're a manifesting generator, for example, it might actually be more effective for you to focus on multiple different offers at the same time. I'm somebody who, like, I want to be streamlined, fully focused on one thing. So that worked better for me. So, like as with most things, it depends, but in terms of profitability, I would focus on one. Next question, is online course creation something you can promote on all platforms? 100%. You guys see me do this. I do it. I talk about it on TikTok. I talk about it on Instagram. I talk about it on YouTube. I talk about it on my podcast. You can share about the thing that you are teaching in your online course on every single platform. And of course, each type of content for every single platform is going to look a little bit different. So like, for example, what I post on TikTok is a little bit more lifestyle focused because that's what performs better on that platform. YouTube is a little bit more long form video like this. So it really just depends. But yes, absolutely, you can talk about it on every platform. Okay, can you talk about sharing testimonials? What do you feel is the most effective? So I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier on, but if you're starting from zero and you haven't received any testimonials yet, the best thing to do is reach out via email to everybody who has enrolled in your course. Reach out to all of your students. And if you have even if let's say you have 50 students, that might be a lot to individually email each one, but you can kind of create an email script and send it out to, your list of students that says, hey, I'm so glad that you're in the course. I hope you're loving it. Please respond and let me know what your feedback is, what results that you've had, if you've had any confusions, any questions, things like that. It's just a really good way to get feedback to not only make your course better, but to also get some really killer testimonials, because you should not just be waiting for people to be reaching out to you, because I think that happens less often. Now, another thing that has worked really, really well for me in terms of testimonials is every time I get a student who DMs me anything, whether it's oh my gosh, I made $10,000 on my first launch, or I finished my course, or I made back my investment, or whatever, I will screenshot those DM conversations and save them to a photo album on my phone called Testimonials. So that way, at my fingertips, every time I go to post to Instagram, if I want to post a testimonial, I already have them all organized in that album, and it's super easy to do specifically for Instagram stories. So I would definitely recommend doing that. And once your audience sees you consistently posting those DM conversations, as soon as somebody who's in your course has a win, they're going to DM it to you, because it's kind of like training them in a way that they know oh, she's going to post this if I let her know. So it really, the more you share them, the more you'll get. And honestly, the more it will sell your course too, because testimonials are just one of the most effective ways to sell your course. Speaking of thinking of creative new ways to do a sales pitch or to sell your course, testimonials are literally the best thing that you can do for that. Now, for those of you who don't have testimonials yet, what I would recommend is sharing your own story. So if you don't have any testimonials yet of people that you've helped, if you're teaching a topic on something, it's most likely because you have personal experience with that topic. So again, you're going to feel like a broken record, but you need to be showing up at least once a week and sharing your hero's journey of where you were then to where you are now, because that is really the most effective testimonial that you can ever have. Okay, next question is, what can the dream be when I create about overthinking and stress? I think the pain point isn't big. So she's referring to something that I call selling the dream. I talk about this on Instagram, on social media all the time. And selling the dream is essentially whatever the outcome is of your course, of the thing that you're selling, you want to show up and be an embodiment of that thing and show the lifestyle, sell the lifestyle of how much better somebody's life is going to be after they've taken your course. So a specific example, again, online course creation is the thing that I teach, but I am the living embodiment of what online course creation can do for somebody, because again, going back to my story of where I was then, living in the hut, minimalist, in debt, to where I am now, living this luxury lifestyle, traveling whenever I want and staying in 5-star hotels, waking up and doing whatever I want in a day, things like that. I can just show insights into my lifestyle every single day of going to Pilates midday, going to the spa. And those are ways that I'm selling the dream, because I'm showing that look, the reason my lifestyle is like this is because of online courses. And the same exact concept can really apply to no matter what it is that you're selling. So just wanted to give a brief overview of what selling the dream is first, because she's saying she teaches about stress and overthinking, and she doesn't really think that the pain point is as big. So if you don't think the pain point is big enough to sell a course, that's problem number one. You need to think about the outcome or the problem that you are helping somebody solve with your course, because it needs to be good enough. It needs to be big enough to where somebody's going to invest money in it, because otherwise, why would somebody pay for it? And just to kind of help you with that a little bit is remember that you are not selling overthinking and stress. You're selling the outcome of what managing those things can do for you. So what I'm asking you out there, whoever wrote this question, managing your stress and managing overthinking, what can that actually accomplish in somebody's life, or how can it make their lives better? Is it going to make them a better parent, a better partner? Is it going to make their business grow better, make more money? Like, there's so many different types of outcomes that you could really focus on there. Pinpointing that is going to be key. And remember, that is the dream that you are selling. Okay, next question, how to find clients. So first, let's just like reimagine this whole question, because it's not your job, and I don't want anybody out there to be going out and finding clients. That is not a passive strategy whatsoever. When I think of going out and finding clients, I think of like the old school marketing way of like sliding into people's DMs or like commenting on other people's posts. That is just honestly like a huge waste of your time. So instead, what I focus on is attraction marketing. How can you attract the right clients? How can you create one piece of content that attracts tens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of the right people with one piece of content, rather than spending 8 hours a day going out and, hoping that somebody that you DM becomes a client. So the way that you can attract the right types of clients and customers and students for your course is through creating targeted pieces of content for them. So again, this can look like this video that I'm making right now. It's targeted towards people who have questions about online course creation, but think about whatever the topic is or the outcome of your course and who might be looking for that and what's going to resonate with them. So again, this could look like how-to content, some sort of tutorial on the thing that you teach. It could also be something inspirational, selling the dream of the outcome. It could also be something relatable. So thinking about a pain point or a struggle that those people are having right now and figuring out a way to leverage a trending audio to make them feel like, oh my gosh, this person totally understands what I'm going through right now, and maybe they've been there before too. I wonder what they did to get over it, something like that. Okay, next question, how to price my course. Lots of people are charging less than I want to. So this is a really good question. And I think number one, when you're looking to price your course, don't just look at what other people in your niche or in your industry are charging, because you can go to Udemy and find somebody who's probably selling a course on the exact same course topic that you're creating right now for like $10. And I would never advise that anybody sell their course for $10, because it's not an appropriate form of selling a product. When you're building a personal brand and you're selling a course from a personal brand, people aren't just buying the content. They're buying you as the instructor, and they're really buying into the fact that the trust that you are going to be able to get them there. And it's not the same. And this is why when people ask me too, like, what do you think about AI, taking the place of courses? I'm like, you can go into Chat GPT if you want and type in how to create an online course. It's not going to be the same as a human teaching you step by step. It's just truly not. You might get a lot of really good, valuable information from it, but it's not going to be the same thing. So going back to the pricing and how to effectively do this. So first of all, you want to think about the outcome of your course. What is the outcome, and what are you potentially saving somebody in terms of money, in terms of their time, in terms of pain, in terms of stress, from having your course be the ultimate solution for them, so that they never have to go to the doctor again, so that they never have to pay for ads again, so that they never have to think about all the things that they've tried and spent money on and wasted time on that haven't worked. If your course is like the last thing that they're going to need on this topic, you have to factor all of those things that they could be spending money on into the price of your course, because you're really providing a solution for them. So that's number one. You also want to factor in your own expertise. So maybe it took you 10 years through trial and error to figure out the thing that you now learn. Well, factor that into the price. That's important, because you're saving somebody essentially 10 years of trial and error and doing it on their own. You're giving them the answer in, a 6-week course. You can also think about it in terms of expertise, like actual credentials that you maybe have. So if you have a master's degree, if you've gotten a bunch of certifications, if you've had hundreds of clients over the past couple of years, like all of those things factor into your expertise and the price point that you can price your course at. Okay, next question. How do you feel about all these people who create online courses now jumping into Master Resale Rights? That's what MRR stands for. So honestly, when I first got this question I've been getting a lot recently, I didn't know what Master Resale Rights were. So I did a little bit of research, and now of course I see it all over the place on my Explore page about Master Resale Rights. So if you're unfamiliar, Master Resale Rights is basically a course that somebody created that is completely done. And when you enroll in that course or when you buy it, you are getting the master resale rights to that course, meaning you basically then are reselling this already created course that somebody else created. I think, and I don't know if they have them on like different topics, but the one that I've been seeing is mostly around like marketing. So somebody created this course. Anybody can enroll in it, and when people enroll in it, it's basically like a done for you course that then they can go and sell and get 100% of the profits for. Now, do I think that this is a genius marketing strategy? Absolutely. It's basically like a get rich quick scheme. You're getting something that's already done, you buy it, and then you can go off and sell it. And I think it gives you like the strategy of how to sell it and all of that too. So it's basically like if somebody just shit an online course in your lap and you didn't have to create it and all you have to do is go sell it. Now, the problem that I have with this is, I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's a problem, but for me, it's not something that I would personally do. And it's really the exact same way I felt about joining an MLM at the beginning of my business, because I thought to myself, when I was working a serving job, there were lots of people, like MLMs were very popular at that time. A lot of people were trying to recruit me. And I thought to myself, oh, like this seems kind of easy. Like the product is already created, the business model is already created, everything, the marketing, everything is already done for you. All you have to do is sell this thing. Like that seems really easy and like such a fast way to make money. And that's true. And it's the same way with the Master Resale Rights course. The reason why I never got involved in an MLM and why I was kind of like just didn't feel right or aligned for me ever is that I always knew from the beginning that I wanted to create something that was 100% mine, that I poured my heart and soul into, even if that meant that it was harder, but that I could look back and be really proud of like, you know what, I created this. I did it exactly how I wanted. Nobody told me how I could do it or what the parameters were or how to market it or how to show up. It was 100% completely my idea, my brain, my energy, all me. And the money that I would make from that would feel so much better than if, you know, it was somebody else's business that I was essentially a salesperson of. Because that's how I feel, you know, like it or not, that's how I feel about MLMs. And that's also how I feel about Master Resale Rights, is that you are essentially being a salesperson for somebody else. Okay, Master Resale Rights, they're not getting a profit of it. It's like you're getting 100% of the profit, but it's not yours. You didn't create that. So I also think that there's maybe a disconnect. I mean, I'm sure people are super successful with it, but for me, I would not feel as passionate about selling something that I personally didn't create and that I personally didn't have a story around. So I think ultimately, like, you do you. If you feel like that's an easier way to make money and like that's going to work for you, then like go for it. But maybe you feel like I do and you're like, you know, I want to create something that's like me, that is 100%. Like, I don't know if anyone else like gets the gist of what I'm saying right now, but anyways, that's how I feel about it. It's very popular right now for understandably a good reason. It's a quick way to make money. I think in terms of longevity and probably just a more effective sales strategy, like having something that's more personal to you would always be the way to go. Okay, this is getting really long, so I think I'm going to end it on this one. And this question is, can you go directly into a passive sales strategy, or do you recommend an initial live launch? So again, I've mentioned this a couple times, but in Online Course Academy, I kind of teach two methods for launching and marketing your course. One is the live launch, which I've talked more about today, in terms of like choosing a 7 to 10 day launch period, going hard during those days, having the doors closed, That's kind of like a live launch strategy. So it is a scalable strategy, meaning you can reach a ton of people at once for the same amount of effort, but it's not passive. You're having to show up every single day, promote, send emails, all of that. Whereas a passive strategy is something, and it's called evergreen. It's something that I teach inside the Online Course Academy bundle as well. That's basically an automated webinar, automated email sequence, automated form of urgency, so that people still have that reason to get off the fence, but it's all running completely automated. So whether or not you are showing up and posting on social media, whether or not you're sending an email, whether or not you're doing anything at all, you're still able to make sales every single day from that strategy. I really love a combination of both, like maybe doing a live launch, kind of live promotion sale a couple times a year if you want to, but then having the passive strategy running in the background all the time. This is how, if you follow me on Instagram, you see me talk about this all the time, that like I'm making sales while I'm at the spa, while I'm traveling. That's from the passive strategy that I teach. Now, this person is wondering, can you jump straight into that, or do you have to live launch first? So ultimately, yes, the quick answer is yes, you can absolutely go straight into passive selling. There's just a little bit more like testing and tweaking you would want to do on the front end before you create your whole passive funnel, because that, again, just like your course, your passive funnel with the webinar and the automations, it does take some strategy and time to set up. And of course, we walk you through everything in Online Course Academy, but we want to make sure before you spend the time doing that your audience is really like saying yes and wants the way that you're marketing it, if that makes sense. All right, you guys, I think I'm going to end it there because that ended up being quite a long Q&A, but I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me to the end. So if you are new here, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, make sure to hit the red subscribe button, and let me know in the comments if you want more Q&A videos like this. Let me know what other course creation questions you have. And then as always, I'm going to link a bunch of free resources in the description box below this video. So the first place I would recommend starting if you are thinking about online course creation and you need help choosing a topic, you want to know how to build an audience, how to sell your course passively, everything you need to know about Online Course Academy and the Passive Income Academy bundle, join my free masterclass. I'm going to link it. It's going to be the very first link in the description box below this video. It's about 30 to 45 minutes. It's an entirely free class where you're going to learn everything you need to know. And at the end of that class, you're also going to get a special offer into Online Course Academy. Just everything that I kind of talked about on today's Q&A. So join that. Let me know if you have any questions, and be sure to come follow me on Instagram if you aren't already. I am always active in the DMs. If you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to me there. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back again next week with another video. Bye.